Over 13,000 New York City apartments are empty, and nobody's allowed to rent them. Why is that?
It happens all the time across the city. Landlords allowing rent-stabilized apartments to remain vacant.
A bathroom reduced to rubble. Some landlords are keeping units vacant on purpose.
I cannot afford to buy.
So expensive.
More than 100,000 people are experiencing homelessness.
I just don't have the money to finish it.
Some apartments can need significant restoration work.
I'm leaving New York partially because it's so expensive here.
Where is this place?
Apartments that way.
Okay. So those are the keys to a vacant apartment?
Keys to a vacant apartment that's been vacant for very long.
Do you think anyone's gonna rent this place anytime soon?
Probably not.
Why is that?
It's looking a little rough right now.
So before we see what these apartments are like inside, it's important to understand why New York City has so many vacant apartments that nobody can live in the first place.
Rent-stabilized apartments are highly sought after in New York City. More than 13,000 apartments sat vacant for at least 2 years between 2021 and 2022.
New York City has two kinds of apartments. You have regulated apartments and you have market rate apartments. The market rate ones, those can be rented for any price the landlord wants, but the regulated ones, they have a rent cap that is set by the city of New York. If you have a stabilized apartment, rent can only go up so much on a year-to-year basis, whereas a market rate apartment could be anything next year. If you're able to get your hands on a rent stabilized apartment, that's good. You'll be able to stay in New York for as long as you want with minimal rent increases, but these are the apartments that are most likely to be empty right now, the ones no one's allowed to rent. Still has a drain cover. Does it have power?
Nope.
Huh. Dude, this place is old, man. Look at these wires. Does the owner have any plans to improve this?
To my knowledge, he does not plan to improve this apartment anytime soon.
How long has this been empty?
A really long time. Months.
Months?
Months.
A number of vacancies are the result of changes to the law in 2019 that restrict rent increases for stabilized units.
Landlords with stabilized apartments are saying the law prevents them from legally bringing them to market while making money. Yes, this is about making money. And landlords say renovating these apartments is a terrible investment.
Under the current law, the owner is only allowed an $89 a month increase. So let's say you have a $700 a month apartment, you have to put in $50,000 to get $89 a month back. Your rate of return is going to be 30 or 40 years.
In the past, apartments like this would for sure get renovated once they became vacant, but things are different now.
How's the view? It actually looks like a pretty good view.
It's not terrible. Yeah, this is a true one-bedroom apartment. This is actually a decent-sized bedroom. You can fit a queen in here. It's a shame.
Yeah, this could be a good place.
Yeah.
The radiator's missing a knob. Do you think this thing hisses in the wintertime, makes noise?
Yeah.
Comes with a whole gym. Oh, you're in way better shape than I am. And after you walk in, there's like a pipe here? What is this?
A heating pipe?
Yeah, it's got like a foam line. And they've boarded up the bottom of the door for some reason. Maybe there's like a...
This might be the nicest part of the whole apartment.
Oh, is that the coat rack?
Yeah, it's a coat rack.
It's sweet.
These are the water knobs for the kitchen. I don't know why they're exposed.
In more modern designs, you'd see those under the sink. Well, that's metal. This cabinet might be older than both of us put together. It still latches though. There's a little magnet, but this side, it's missing, so it doesn't actually close. And now landlords are saying that a 2019 law is the reason they're treating rent-stabilized apartments differently now than they were in the past and why there are so many empty.
A bathroom reduced to rubble, new window frames, and
Here was the rest of the sink going down.
it's an abandoned apartment renovation. Orsania landlord Oscar Perez showed us the roughly $45,000 in work he stopped months ago.
Okay, that clip is actually from 2019, and that was of a landlord who was in the middle of renovating and then says that the law stopped him from doing so the moment it was enacted.
Previously, he could have recouped the money by raising the rent about $100 a month for the next tenant. But a new law signed in June only gives him leeway to recoup about $10 a month.
It's a knife through the heart of landlords.
Now, granted, $10 a month is still significantly better than $0 a month, but he still isn't renting it. Why is that?
Private building owners need the money to exist,
to pay their real estate tax, to pay their employees, and to buy things from the local suppliers.
Okay, so taxes, building materials, wear and tear, those things all cost money. And at $10 a month, a $400 paint job is gonna take almost 3 years to recover. That's just the paint. That's not a fridge, that's not a microwave, that's not a sink, that's not any of the new stuff that's gonna need to go into a place that is like a total shipwreck to make it livable. And it seems like what we have is an issue of fairness. It's not fair to charge people more than they can afford to live somewhere, otherwise they'll be homeless. But it's also not fair to ask someone to work for free or to give you something for free. And in this particular example, the landlord's complaints are about renovation costs, but that was in 2019 before massive inflation. Right now, everything at Home Depot is way more expensive, and there's a worker shortage.
As far as storage, we have an exposed closet with a rack.
Okay.
And a decent sized closet.
Oh yeah. No, it's like a little bench. You could put your shoes in here and then sit here and put them on. And you could rent this out.
Sick.
Is that the gas line up there?
I think so.
There, you know, that will give this a pass because the exposed gas line, that's a thing in this neighborhood.
The kitchen itself is not a bad size. You can fit a table. Can it be that big? No, but it works.
I guess this is the pantry over here in the corner, the set of shelves. We have some sort of a view here. It's a shaftway or something. The window is like covered by a layer of soot. It's pretty unreal. Got a little critter catcher here behind the fridge. This is that same metal cabinet deal. Is there anything in here? Do I want to know? No, you know, looks the way it probably looked a long time ago. Do you think these still work? I mean, it's hard to tell with no power.
Yeah, not at the moment they don't work, but they probably work once the electricity's on.
Yeah, oh look, there's keys in here. You can move in.
Wow, let's do it.
I think they're supposed to stay there. Bathroom.
It's right over here.
Oh, this is it?
It's a little dark. Let's get a light on.
Okay. Oh boy, this is interesting looking.
Oh yeah.
Does the sink still work? Yeah, it does. We got a medicine cabinet here. Oh man, you can see that this thing is kind of ancient for sure. A light switch, man. I probably shouldn't touch it. And look at this layer of caulk. Whoever put that there knew exactly how to renovate apartments. What treasures will we find under here? You know, it definitely needs to be replaced, but it looks like whoever was living here before was able to make it work. Where's the tub?
Here's your bathtub.
Okay. Oh, you know, the pressure's not bad. Dude, it works, man. Is that the throne?
Yeah.
It's behind like a partial wall. That's so interesting.
Has the TikTok check though.
Oh yeah, look at that. You can watch your favorite videos from right there.
All day.
You feel comfortable right now?
Very.
And according to this article, the overall number of vacancies should be dramatically lower, but the current laws are forcing thousands of apartments to stay empty. And it limits your recoverable renovation costs to $15,000 over a 30-year period. There's definitely demand for affordable housing in New York, but this isn't something it seems like many small-time landlords are able to provide.
So the crazy thing about this apartment is that it's not even rent stabilized. This is a free market apartment.
This is free market?
Free market.
And it's still vacant?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I know. So this landlord does have other rent stabilized units.
Okay.
But this building does not make enough money for him to renovate this unit.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though it could be renovated and could be rented immediately for any price, the money's still not there to do that.
Yeah, it's just not worth it financially.
That's insane.
Workers are so expensive nowadays, new appliances are really expensive nowadays, and the apartment's only gonna rent for so much no matter what you do to it.
So it seems like even if they put thousands of dollars into this, in the landlord's opinion, the market's not gonna reward him for that at any price.
Correct. The apartment's only so big, you can only charge so much for it.
For a one bedroom.
Yeah.
But did you know that there's a landlord in New York City right now that has over 3,000 empty apartments and they're completely off limits? Here we are at the Elliott Chelsea houses, which are the property of the New York City Housing Authority.
NYCHA is the largest public housing system in the country, and that system is more than 96% full. But with more than 161,000 apartments in the system, that means a lot of potential homes are empty.
These are technically affordable apartments, but nobody can live in them either, and they're owned by the city.
But by December 2022, that number skyrocketed to 3,300. a nearly 700% increase.
That's crazy. This housing system has 3,300 empty apartments right now. That's almost 25% of the number of claimed private affordable units that are also available. NYCHA also doesn't have the greatest reputation.
More than 100,000 people in New York City alone are experiencing homelessness. And when you consider how many vacant public housing apartments there are, you can see why housing advocates and elected officials say much more needs to be done.
If someone in New York is on hard times, these are the apartments that are supposed to be there to help them. But just like the private rent-stable apartments that are in a state of disrepair and just sit empty, these are the exact same thing. They're unlivable places, and that's why no one's living in them.
At the end of 2021, it took about 120 days for a public housing apartment to be turned around from vacant to occupied. That time rose until December 2022.
260 days, that's almost 9 months. And if private apartment landlords say their costs have gone up, I'm sure the same thing is true for the city. It's probably even more expensive to renovate these than it was just a few months ago. Also, the budgets for making repairs depend on the city, and if workers are being bought out by other landlords in other parts of town, they're not gonna be available to fix these.
For their part, the NYCHA officials said that some apartments can need significant restoration work in addition to asbestos and lead removal.
But there's actually a specific reason we're here at the Elliott Chelsea houses.
The plan is to demolish the more than 2,000 combined units and rebuild everything taller. Developers say all residents are guaranteed new homes. As demolition happens, some residents will be given temporary housing.
So apparently it's cheaper to tear down these apartments and rebuild them than it is to go through each individual one and fix them all. Plus, the claim is that this is going to create additional units because the buildings will be taller than they are right now.
Seems like you do not trust anything that they're saying.
No, I don't. I'm sorry, but I don't.
Did you hear that they're tearing it down?
Yes, they are.
Is that something that people are happy about? What have you heard?
From the people around the community, I don't think people like that because you're building down, trying to break down something and then kick people out where it's like, you want to make it hard for people. That's not fair.
The government's been saying that they're going to relocate people later, but they have to move out first.
What about locate me first and then kick me out?
Yeah, right? Like, people are worried that they don't have a future because it might be taken from them.
You're taking more than the future, though. You're taking living, kids living. That's not fair.
Charlie, what do you do here in New York?
I'm a fashion designer.
Okay.
I have my own clothing line, and I'm also a stylist.
You can improve this.
Yes, I can.
You can help me.
Absolutely.
Resident voices and input have been critical to crafting the vision for new and safe housing in a community they deserve. And they will continue to be a big part of delivering that vision.
I'm a little excited. I think it's going to be new things happening for the community, new buildings going on, but it's a little worrisome.
Now, people have varying opinions on public housing, but one thing's for sure, the people that live here, it's not unreasonable to believe that they may have questions about these plans that they don't control.
We'll address some maintenance concerns, heating issues, hot water issues, elevators, mold and leak.
And NYCHA's Jonathan Gavaya says this is likely not the last wholesale public housing rebuild we'll see with a $40 billion maintenance backlog.
But one thing's for sure, this is a massive complex, and no matter what the plans and the proposed timeline are, there could be disruptions. This may not go according to plan. And even though it sounds like it was put to a vote for whether or not this whole thing was going to happen, there's still going to be disruption to people's lives. And if it doesn't go smoothly, the people living there have to deal with it. So every type of landlord in the city, including the city itself, has tons of empty apartments that nobody can live in right now for a variety of reasons. Private landlords say they can't make money. The city itself says they don't have any money. And whether it's public housing or private housing, it seems like money's involved in some aspect, which makes me think if you remove those rent laws, every single one of those 13,000 empty apartments is gonna rent for more money than most people can afford. They're not gonna be affordable apartments if they come back, no way. But if things are kept as is, none of those apartments are gonna rent either. They're just gonna sit empty in states of disrepair. Now, one person that I spoke to said that if a landlord were to pay out of their own pocket, out of their own piggy bank to renovate one of the city's affordable apartments, that would unlock one of their rent stabilized units to bring to free market. But is that even a good solution? Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.